Can you feel it? Something stirring deep inside your soul. Something ancient. Something holy. You don't know why today feels different, but it does, doesn't it? You woke up with a strange pull on your spirit, like heaven whispered your name in the silence of the dawn. And now you're here, listening. Not by accident. Not by chance. Because you, chosen one, were meant to hear this. Right now. At this very moment in time. You've been wandering with questions that no one else seems to understand. You've been carrying a weight that others can't see. You've smiled through storms. You've stayed silent through battles that raged inside your own heart. And you've asked more than once, God, is this really for me? Let me tell you now, yes, it is. All of it. This journey, this fire, this calling, this mystery, it's yours. Because you were chosen before you even took your first breath. You were not made for ordinary. You were not built for the crowd. You were crafted in secret, by divine hands, for a mission only your spirit could survive. That's why you didn't fit in. That's why you were misunderstood. That's why you've always felt like something inside you was waiting to be activated. You weren't waiting on life. Life was waiting on you. You were hidden, not forgotten. Protected, not abandoned. Preserved, not passed over. Because God doesn't reveal His greatest vessels until they've been refined in silence. And chosen one, your silence is about to break. There's a shift taking place in the unseen. You can feel it. The atmosphere around you is thicker. The people in your life are shifting. The patterns are breaking. The illusions are crumbling. Why? Because God is about to do something through you that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and minds have not conceived. And that's why the attacks came. That's why hell tried to take you out early. That's why your heart has been bruised, your trust has been tested, and your faith has been torn. Because the enemy knew before you did that once you woke up, everything would change. And now, you're waking up. You're seeing differently. You're hearing differently. You're feeling the call of destiny rise like a wave that can no longer be held back. This is your moment. Your crossing. Your exodus. From bondage into purpose. From silence into sound. From hoping into having. You are no longer just surviving. You're stepping into divine alignment. You're stepping into clarity. You're stepping into power. And the shift won't be gradual. It will be sudden. Swift. Sacred. Doors will open that no man can shut. Answers will come where confusion once lived. Favor will fall in places you were once rejected. But you must be ready. You must release the past, not revisit it. You must forgive what hurt you, not feed it. You must accept that being chosen doesn't mean being understood. It means being anointed for what others are afraid to carry. And yes, you were built to carry glory. That's why your path was lonely. That's why your walk was different. That's why your soul longed for more when others settled. You're not better than anyone. You're just not built the same. Your spirit is wired for purpose. Your mind has tasted eternity. Your heart beats to a divine rhythm that can't be drowned by noise. That's why your joy felt different. That's why your pain hit deeper. That's why your prayers carried weight even when your words were few. You are heaven's echo in human form. You are legacy wrapped in skin and breath. You are the answer to prayers your ancestors whispered in the night. And now, heaven is calling your name again. This time, not to break you, but to build through you. This time, not to crush you, but to crown you. This time, not to hide you, but to launch you. But you must decide. Will you stay in what's familiar, or step into what's divine? Will you cling to what's fading, or embrace what's eternal? Will you shrink in fear, or rise in faith? Because God's not waiting anymore. He's moved. And He's inviting you to move with Him. No more delays. No more excuses. No more spiritual sleepwalking. This is your awakening. This is your activation. This is your appointed hour. Chosen one, you were not called to simply exist. You were called to ignite. You were called to walk into rooms and shift atmospheres. You were called to carry light in dark places. You were called to love like Christ, fight like David, and rise like Esther. You were called to build altars with your obedience, not just temples of comfort. You were called to pray until chains break, to speak until walls fall, to believe until mountains move. And now, it's time. Time to align. Time to obey. Time to trust the process that felt like punishment, but was really preparation. Because God didn't abandon you, He was constructing you. You are the clay. He is the potter. And the vessel you're becoming will carry His power in ways this world has never seen. This isn't just encouragement. This is a warning to the darkness. You are rising. You are glowing. You are going where no one in your bloodline dared to go. The curses stop with you. The cycles break with you. The silence ends with you. Because you are chosen. And no weapon formed against you will prosper. Not now. Not ever. This is just the beginning. And if you're still here, still listening, still breathing, then you already know. The divine truth is awakening inside of you. And heaven is waiting for your yes. You said yes in your spirit before your mouth could form the words. You felt it, didn't you? That subtle, almost unexplainable shift inside you when the truth hit your soul. When the veil was lifted. When something ancient and eternal whispered, you were made for more. And now, the process has begun. You may not see it with your eyes, but heaven has already moved. The moment you accepted who you are in God's eyes, not the world's, not your past's, not your wounds but God's, the heavens recorded your agreement. And that agreement carries authority. You've stepped out of waiting and into becoming. But before you move forward, there is something you must understand. Being chosen costs something. This path isn't paved with comfort. It's forged in fire. God doesn't elevate those who avoid the flame. He raises those who pass through it and still keep their faith intact. That's why it hurt. That's why you cried when no one was watching. That's why betrayal struck from places you never expected. It wasn't punishment. It was purification. God was stripping you not to shame you, but to shape you. He was emptying your hands so He could fill them with something divine. And the pain you felt, it was never wasted. He saw every tear. He caught each one like jewels in His hand. And He's been storing them not for pity, but for power. Because now He's ready to release the reward. But hear me clearly, the reward isn't just in the blessing. It's in the becoming. You've been asking God to change your situation, but He's been using your situation to change you. You wanted deliverance. He wanted development. You wanted escape. He wanted expansion. Because what's coming requires a version of you that didn't exist before the fire. A version of you that knows who you are. A version that walks into rooms with peace that silences confusion. A version that carries answers, not just questions. A version that prays from victory, not for it. And that version is emerging right now. But let me tell you something the enemy hoped you'd never find out. The moment you understand your identity, the devil loses his grip. Because if you ever stop doubting who you are, if you ever stop apologizing for how God made you, if you ever stop shrinking to fit other people's comfort zones, then there's nothing, no lie, no attack, no stronghold that can stop you. Because chosen ones don't just survive. They build. They blaze. They birth. You were never meant to sit quietly in the back row of life. You were made to lead, to roar, to rise. That fire inside you, it's not ambition. It's assignment. That discomfort, it's not confusion. It's divine confrontation. God is confronting everything in your life that doesn't align with what He spoke over you. And He won't stop until every part of you looks like the prophecy. Yes, the prophecy. You think you're just living life. But heaven wrote your days before time began. There's a scroll in glory with your name etched into it. And every time you obey, every time you keep walking, every time you refuse to quit, you step deeper into that scroll, into your ordained destiny. This is why the warfare has been so intense. The enemy doesn't fight who you were. He fights who you're becoming. He doesn't attack based on your past. He attacks based on your potential. But hear this. The very areas the enemy targeted the most are the areas God is about to use the most. If he attacked your voice, it's because your voice carries deliverance. If he attacked your confidence, it's because your courage will awaken generations. If he attacked your relationships, it's because your connections will carry kingdom power. He tried to break what he could never own. But he underestimated one thing. You are not fighting for a throne. You were born from one. You carry the bloodline of royalty. You carry the authority of the risen King. And your scars are not shame, they're seals. Proof that the fire couldn't consume you. Proof that the pit couldn't keep you. Proof that the pain didn't poison you. You walked through hell, but you didn't come out smelling like smoke. You came out refined. You came out appointed. You came out chosen. So now what? Now you rise. You rise in clarity. You rise in purpose. You rise in obedience. And with each step, you shift atmospheres. With each word, you speak resurrection. With each breath, you carry the sound of heaven. This is not hype. This is holy. This is not temporary motivation. This is eternal truth. You have been called to something bigger than you. Something that terrifies your flesh but excites your spirit. Because deep down, you know this is what you were made for. So stop doubting your assignment. Stop trying to blend in when God called you to stand out. Stop playing small to make others comfortable. You are not called to comfort. You are called to glory. You are not called to fit in. You are called to break molds. And if you needed confirmation, this is it. Heaven sent this moment to your timeline as a sign. Not just a sign that God is with you, but a sign that you are with God, that your spirit still responds to truth, that your heart still knows His voice, that even after all the disappointment, you still believe. And belief, real belief, is the seed of breakthrough. So now, chosen one, you choose. Will you let the past define you, or will you let purpose awaken you? Will you replay the trauma, or will you step into the testimony? Will you stay silent, or will you speak life? The choice is yours. But know this. Heaven is waiting to back your yes. And the moment you move, The kingdom moves with you. So rise. Speak. Shine. Because you weren't just chosen. You were born for such a time as this. And this is only the beginning. You didn't just survive the fire. You absorbed it. You became it. And now, you walk with a flame the world can't extinguish. That's why your presence feels different. That's why your silence speaks volumes. That's why when you walk in the room, something shifts even if no one says a word. Because you are not just another person trying to figure it out. You are divine strategy in motion. You carry the fingerprints of God on your soul. You are what hell fears the most, someone who remembers who they are. And now that you know, now that the veil has been torn, and the illusion has fallen away, there's no going back. You can't unsee it. You can't unhear it. You can't unknow what heaven has just confirmed in you. And that scares people. Because most only know how to connect through your brokenness. But now you're whole. And whole people don't shrink. You don't apologize for healing. You don't lower your light for those who choose darkness. You don't hide your crown just because others haven't found heirs. You walk unapologetically, divinely, unshakably. Because that's what chosen ones do. We don't just speak truth. We become it. We don't just carry the message. We are the message. Your life is the sermon someone's soul has been waiting to hear. So speak it with how you live. Live it through how you forgive. Prove it by how you rise after falling. That's the true calling. Not perfection, but power through obedience. Not popularity, but purpose. Not applause, but alignment. You see, the world taught you that success was fame. But heaven measures success in surrender. In how quickly you say yes even when it costs you everything. In how deeply you love when no one loves you back. In how faithfully you serve when no one's watching. Because that's what legacy is made of. Not noise, but depth. And you, chosen one, are being called into the deep. No more shallow waters. No more surface level living. God is pulling you into a deeper walk, a higher vision, a weightier glory. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you relationships. It will cost you your old self. But what you'll gain cannot be compared. You'll gain clarity that no confusion can cloud. You'll gain peace that no storm can shake. You'll gain strength that no man can give you. And when it's all said and done, when the world asks, "How did you survive that?" you'll smile and say, "I didn't just survive. I was sent." That's what it means to be chosen. To be planted in pain but still bloom in purpose. To be forged in fire but still carry fragrance. To be hit again and again but never stop rising. You are proof that resurrection is real. You are walking evidence that when God says live, nothing can hold you in the grave. So stand tall, even if your knees still tremble. Speak bold, even if your voice still shakes. Move forward, even if the road ahead looks unclear. Because clarity comes through motion. Breakthrough comes through obedience. And transformation comes through trust. You've trusted the pain long enough. Now trust the promise. You've believed the lies long enough. Now believe the light. Because what's ahead of you is not just restoration. It's rebirth. Not just blessings, but birthing. You are about to become what no one saw coming, even you. The same people who doubted you will witness the hand of God lift you in a way that logic can't explain. And they'll have no choice but to say, "That had to be God." Because it is. This story isn't about your strength. It's about His glory. It's about showing the world what divine power looks like when wrapped in human surrender. It's about walking through fire and not smelling like smoke. It's about choosing forgiveness instead of revenge, love instead of bitterness, faith instead of fear. Because the real mark of the chosen isn't how loud they shout. It's how faithfully they walk. It's how deeply they trust. It's how fully they love. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them watch. Because while they speculate, you will elevate. While they gossip, you will grow. While they mock, you will manifest. Not for revenge, but for testimony. Not for ego, but for eternity. Because every time you choose light, darkness loses its grip. Every time you say yes, heaven releases more favor. Every time you press forward, the chains of your bloodline shatter behind you. You are breaking what broke generations before you. You are building what no one had the faith to begin. You are breathing life into dry bones, starting with your own. And make no mistake, this won't always be easy. There will be days when the anointing feels like agony. Days when the calling feels like a curse. Days when the silence feels louder than God's voice. But even then, He is with you. Even when you can't trace His hand, you can trust His heart. Even when you feel alone, heaven is moving on your behalf. Even when the world doesn't clap for your obedience, angels are recording every step. Because obedience in the unseen builds altars in eternity. And you, chosen one, are building something eternal. So don't stop now. Don't quit just because it's uncomfortable. Don't give up just because it's hard. Don't walk away just because it's lonely. You're closer than you think. You're deeper than they know. And you're stronger than you feel. This is the making of a vessel of glory. This is the refinement of a warrior of light. This is the unveiling of a child of the Most High. And your story is just beginning. You've come too far to turn back now. You've cried too many tears, wrestled with too many questions, endured too many silent nights to walk away from what's being birthed in this very moment. This is not the end of your story. This is the unveiling. The revealing of the version of you that heaven always saw. The one the enemy tried to silence. The one pain tried to bury. The one rejection tried to erase. But none of it worked. Because you weren't made by people, and you won't be undone by them either. You were formed by divine design. And everything, yes, everything has been leading you here. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour. It's all been part of a strategy that only heaven understood. You see, God wasn't just preparing the blessing for you. He was preparing you for the blessing. He was growing your capacity, stretching your faith, sharpening your discernment. Because what you're about to carry, it's not light. It's weighty. It's sacred. It's heavy with glory. And glory doesn't rest on those who want comfort more than calling. Glory comes to the ones who say yes in the wilderness, not just the spotlight. To the ones who worship with no music playing. To the ones who praise with no crowd watching. To the ones who believe even when nothing is changing. That's you. You kept believing when everything told you to quit. You kept loving when your heart was tired. You kept forgiving when bitterness begged to stay. You kept sowing when nothing seemed to grow. And heaven saw it all. Not one act of faith went unnoticed. Not one broken prayer fell to the ground unheard. Not one moment of endurance was wasted. Because the God who called you is the same God who has kept you. And now, He's about to reward you. Not because you earned it, but because you endured for it. There's a crown being placed upon your endurance. There's oil being poured upon your obedience. There's favor being released over your faithfulness. This is the part where the page turns. This is the moment where what was once invisible becomes undeniable. The manifestation, the breakthrough, the fulfillment. But listen carefully. This next season won't require you to fight harder. It will require you to flow deeper, to trust faster, to rest fuller, to listen more closely than you ever have. Because now, your obedience won't just open doors, it'll shift atmospheres. Now, your voice won't just inspire, it'll break chains. Now, your presence won't just be noticed, it'll carry weight. Because when God breathes on someone, the world has to respond. And God has breathed on you. That's why the attacks came. That's why the warfare increased. That's why the pressure was relentless. Because the enemy saw the oil long before you did. But it's too late now. The seal has been broken. The old you has fallen away. And what remains is glory refined. Don't try to return to what God has released you from. Don't run back to what He's rescued you out of. Don't lower your wings to walk among cages. You were made to soar. So fly. Even if they don't understand. Even if they don't support it. Even if they call you different, distant, too deep. Let them. Let them mislabel you, God already named you. Let them misunderstand you, God already assigned you. Let them walk away, God never will. This is your commissioning. Not from man, but from heaven itself. And the instructions are clear. Move forward with no fear. Speak with no apology. Live with no compromise. Because what you carry now isn't just for you. It's for nations. It's for generations. It's for the broken ones still crying out in the night, wondering if God hears them. He does. And He's sending you as proof. Your scars will become testimonies. Your survival will become someone else's deliverance. Your voice will become the trumpet that awakens the sleeping chosen. This is not just your breakthrough. It's your assignment. This is not just your victory. It's your calling. So rise with purpose. Walk with authority. Speak with conviction. You don't need a stage, you are the platform. You don't need a spotlight, you are the light. You don't need validation, you were already verified by heaven. Everything you need is already within you. So stir it up. Fan the flame. Shake off the residue of past seasons. Let go of the shame, the guilt, the regret. God isn't holding it over your head. He buried it so deep, even the devil can't find it. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not what they said about you. You are what God wrote about you. And what He wrote is glorious. So step into it now. With full trust. With full surrender. With full fire. This is your moment. The veil is torn. The time is now. Chosen one. Heaven is waiting on you to believe what God already knows. You are ready. You've been asking, when, Lord? But heaven has already answered, now. You've been looking at clocks, watching calendars, waiting for the perfect moment to move forward. But divine timing doesn't wait for comfort. It responds to obedience. And chosen one, your obedience has activated a shift that can't be reversed. You're not walking into breakthrough. You've already stepped inside it. The walls that held you in have started to crumble. The ceilings that limited you have begun to rise. The chains that bound you are now breaking behind you with every step you take. Do you feel it? That lightness in your chest. That clarity in your spirit. That fire in your bones. It's not imagination. It's confirmation. You are not who you used to be. You've crossed over. You've grown too much to go back. You've seen too much to pretend you don't know. You've heard too clearly to silence your voice again. This is your transformation, unfolding right in front of your enemies, in full view of your past. And the very places that tried to bury you will have no choice but to witness your resurrection. Because you didn't just get back up. You got up with something. You got up with wisdom. You got up with vision. You got up with purpose. You got up with power. And that's what makes you dangerous. Not that you survived, but that you survived with your heart still soft and your faith still intact. You could have hardened. You could have turned bitter. You could have walked away from God completely. But instead, you chose to stay. You chose to trust. You chose to believe in the middle of the storm. And now, the storm is submitting to your obedience. Listen closely. Everything that tried to destroy you will now have to serve you. The heartbreak that broke you will now fuel your compassion. The betrayal that scarred you will now birth discernment. The losses that emptied you will now make room for divine overflow. Because God wastes nothing. Even your lowest moment was loaded with purpose. Even your darkest night had angels standing guard. Even the silence was filled with sacred instructions, etched into your spirit. And now that you're listening, really listening, you can finally hear the echo of destiny calling your name. Not just to rise, but to reign. To take authority over everything that once intimidated you. To walk into rooms you thought you weren't qualified for. To carry a grace that makes no sense to those who only measure success by what they can see. Because what's on you can't be measured. It can't be explained. It can only be discerned. You are not trending. You are timeless. You are not popular. You are prophetic. You are not for everyone. You are for the ones God has assigned to you. And they're coming. The ones who will hear your voice and find healing. The ones who will see your scars and find hope. The ones who will witness your freedom and believe they can walk in theirs too. You were never meant to just be blessed. You were meant to be a blueprint. A living, breathing testimony that God still uses the unlikely. That heaven still calls the forgotten. That glory still falls on the misfits, the brokenhearted, the misunderstood. Because God doesn't look for perfection, He looks for permission. And you gave Him yours. Even when it hurt. Even when you didn't understand. Even when you had nothing left but a mustard seed of faith. You gave Him your yes. And now, chosen one, He's building everything on top of that yes. Doors are opening. Wounds are healing. Assignments are activating. Favor is flowing. Not just around you but through you. Because now, you are not just in alignment. You are the alignment. You carry what others need. You speak what others have been afraid to say. You move with a sound that doesn't echo the world but heaven. And with every breath you take from here on out, heaven's breath breathes with you. You are not moving alone. The angels have been assigned. The path has been cleared. The oil is fresh. The crown is real. And the calling? It's unstoppable. So don't wait for another confirmation. You are it. Don't beg for another sign. You're standing in it. Don't ask if you're qualified. You were chosen before you had a name. And if God saw you worthy enough to wake you up this morning, then He still has plans for you. Plans that don't rely on your perfection, only your surrender. Plans that aren't intimidated by your past. Plans that don't fall apart when people leave. Plans that don't fall apart when people leave. Because what God is building through you is built to outlast every storm. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You don't need to beg anyone to believe in you. You don't need to explain what God is doing in you to those who were never meant to understand. Just keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep glowing. Because as you rise, others will awaken. As you step into your assignment, others will find theirs. As you believe again, hope will be resurrected in dry places. That is the weight you carry. That is the calling you were born for. Not to impress, but to impact. Not to blend in, but to break through. Not to follow the world, but to follow the cloud. So move. Even if your voice shakes, even if your knees tremble, even if you walk alone, you are not really alone. You are walking with the host of heaven, and heaven never loses. So lift your head, straighten your crown, and take the next step, because you, chosen one, were made for this. You've heard the calling. You've answered with your heart. But now comes the part most don't talk about. The stretch. The season where God doesn't just bless your faith, He tests it. Where you've said yes, and heaven has said let's see. Because every chosen one must walk through the valley. Not to be punished, but to be prepared. Because where God is taking you, your comfort can't come. Your pride can't come. Your fear can't come. Your people-pleasing can't come. The old version of you doesn't fit where you're going. And so He begins to cut away the excess. The habits. The mindsets. The wounds. Not to destroy you but to make room. Room for glory. Room for power. Room for the real you. And it hurts. Yes, it hurts. Because stretching always does. Ask the olive how it feels to be crushed just to release the oil. Ask the diamond how much pressure it took to shine. Ask the seed what it cost to grow into a tree. The stretching is proof that expansion is on the way. God is not ignoring you, He's enlarging you. He's making space in you for something eternal. He's preparing your character to carry what your spirit has already seen. You've been praying for next level blessings. But God is preparing next level integrity. Because He knows if He elevates you without that inner foundation, the blessing will crush you instead of crown you. So, He stretches. He quiets your circle. He reroutes your plans. He closes doors you thought were meant for you. And your flesh screams, "Why, Lord?" But your spirit already knows. This is protection. This is precision. This is preparation. Because God would rather you weep in stretching than drown in success unprepared. Chosen one, don't confuse the silence of God for the absence of God. He's not punishing you. He's positioning you. Every delay you've faced, every no you've heard, every plan that fell apart, it wasn't the enemy. It was God, making sure your roots were deep before your fruit ever showed. He doesn't want a moment of impact. He wants a lifetime of influence. And that kind of influence can't be rushed. So if you feel hidden right now, if you feel like the spotlight passed you by, if you feel like no one sees what you carry, good. It means God is still sharpening you in secret. Because anything anointed in public must be forged in private. That's the pattern. David wasn't crowned in the palace first, he was trained in the pasture. Joseph wasn't elevated to Egypt's throne until he was humbled in a prison. Esther didn't become queen without first being hidden behind closed doors. And Jesus our King was baptized in silence before he ever spoke in public. So why are you surprised? Why do you question the process when the process is biblical? God hides what he holds dear. He conceals what he's about to reveal. So if you feel unseen, take heart, it means you're sacred. It means you're oil-bearing. It means the release is coming. But hear me now. Don't rush the process. Don't curse the cocoon just because the wings haven't formed yet. The cocoon is where the real transformation happens. It's where flesh dies and identity is reborn. You are not being delayed. You're being developed. And when the time comes when heaven says now, nothing on earth will be able to stop the emergence. You won't have to force it. You won't have to fight for it. You'll simply rise into what you were always meant to be. So in this stretch, be still. Listen. Learn. Let go. Let go of timelines. Let go of pressure. Let go of needing to be understood. And cling only to him. Cling to the one who knew you before the womb. Cling to the one who doesn't just see your tears, he counts them. Cling to the one who hasn't failed you yet and never will. Because this part of the journey is where intimacy is built, where dependence is formed, where your oil is pressed, and your spirit becomes unshakable. You've been asking for elevation, but he's giving you depth. Because only when you are rooted deeply can you rise high. This is your refining, your foundation laying, your soul deep alignment. And it matters more than you know. Because where you're going, storms will come. And when they do, it won't be your talent that holds you steady. It'll be your trust. Not your popularity, but your posture. Not your charisma, but your consecration. This is not just growth. This is consecration. This is the fire separating gold from dross. And it is holy. Don't resist it. Don't run from it. Don't try to shortcut the fire, it won't work. You'll either come out purified or come out still bound. And you, chosen one, are not called to stay bound. You are called to burn with glory, to move with weight, to speak with clarity, to walk in authority. And all of that begins here, in the stretch. So embrace it. This is the forge. This is the press. This is the turning point between being called and being ready. And now, you're almost ready. The sound of breakthrough is near. The winds of release are shifting. The soil under your feet is trembling with heaven's vibration. And the stretch, it's almost over. Can you sense it? The shift is not coming, it's already here. What once felt heavy now feels holy. What once felt delayed now feels destined. The pain that used to make you question your purpose now confirms it. You are not the same. You are not walking with the limp of a victim anymore. You are standing with the posture of someone who's seen God in the fire and came out carrying flame. And it's written all over you. It's in your words. It's in your silence. It's in the way you enter a room and shift the spiritual climate without trying. You don't just pray anymore, you command. You don't just speak, you declare. You don't just believe, you know. Because when you've survived what was designed to destroy you, something inside you changes. You stop needing evidence because your life is the evidence. You stop needing permission because heaven already said yes. And now, you carry a peace that confuses people who only knew the old you. But that's not your responsibility. Your only job now is to walk boldly into what's next. And what's next? Multiplication, acceleration, elevation. Not just for you but for everyone connected to your obedience. You thought you were just fighting for yourself. But your obedience is opening doors for people you've never met. Your yes is echoing across generations. Your healing is shifting the atmosphere of your bloodline. Your rising is breaking chains that bound your family for decades. Because when a chosen one surrenders, strongholds surrender too. And now that you've surrendered, now that you've stopped fighting God and started following Him, now that you've embraced the refining instead of resisting it, there's nothing left to stop the release. The floodgates are opening. Not just for provision but for purpose. Not just for breakthrough but for birthing. Everything that was stored up for you in heaven's vault is being released in this hour. But it won't come like the world expects. It won't look like applause or followers or fame. It will come in divine strategy, sacred assignments, supernatural connections, and holy acceleration. You'll be in one place one day, and the next day, your whole life will shift. Because divine timing doesn't require gradual, it requires obedience. And chosen one, your obedience has aligned you with heaven's perfect rhythm. This is what you were created for. This is the chapter your soul has been waiting to read. This is the moment your ancestors prayed you into. This is the prophecy unfolding in real time. So stop questioning it. Stop asking if you're ready. You've been made ready through the fire. Stop wondering if this is your time. God didn't send us word to tease you, He sent it to release you. Release you from fear. Release you from guilt. Release you from anything and everything that says you are not enough. You are enough. Because He is enough in you. You were chosen with full knowledge of your flaws. You were called with full awareness of your past. And you were anointed with full certainty of your destiny. God knew every moment of weakness, every moment of doubt, and still said, "That one, that's you. You are that one." The one He pulled from the back of the line to the front. The one He whispered to while the world overlooked. The one He refined in a secret place. The one He is now revealing in His perfect time. So stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for your light. Stop second-guessing the gift He placed in your belly. It's real. It's ready. And it's time. Time to release it. Time to pour it. Time to walk in it. And no, it won't make sense to everyone. But that's because they didn't see what you survived. They didn't feel the weight you carried in silence. They didn't hear the prayers you cried when no one was listening. But God did. And He's the one sending you now. Not man. Not a platform. Not a trend. God. And when God sends, He also sustains. You won't burn out, because the fire in you didn't come from man, it came from heaven. You won't fall apart, because the foundation beneath you isn't sand, it's stone. You won't be shaken, because the wind that once broke you, now pushes you forward. This is what happens when the stretch ends. When the season of silence gives way to the sound of destiny. When the midnight ends and the morning finally rises. You don't walk out the same. You walk out glowing. You walk out carrying what can't be taught, only forged. You walk out with a mantle, not just a message. So wear it. Walk in it. Speak from it. Live by it. Let the world see what God can do with someone who refuses to quit. Let them witness the power of a surrendered yes. Let your life preach a sermon no one can deny. Because the time of holding back is over. The days of shrinking are done. The era of delay has expired. This is the rising. Look at you now. Still standing. Still believing. Still here. That alone is proof of the power inside you. Because everything tried to break you, but you refused to stay broken. The lies didn't work. The silence didn't stop you. The fire didn't burn you, it built you. You are what the enemy fears. An awakened soul. And now, you know too much to ever go back. Too much about who you are. Too much about who God is. Too much about what you carry. So don't let fear speak louder than faith. Don't let doubt steal what destiny already claimed. This is your time. The oil is on you. The path is clear. The call is confirmed. Now walk. Not timidly, not apologetically, but with the boldness of someone heaven trusts. Because that's what you are now, trusted. God wouldn't anoint you if He didn't believe in you. So silence the inner critic. Shut the mouth of shame. Drown the voice of fear. And let the voice of God rise louder than all of it. Chosen one, you've already won. Now go live like it. This is your moment. Not next year. Not next month. Now. Heaven is not waiting. Heaven is moving through you. You've been called. You've been chosen. And now, you've been confirmed. So rise. Walk in power. Speak with purpose. Live with fire. Because the world needs the version of you that remembers who sent you. And that version is ready.